Good morning, 2015 Pittsburgh Penguins Elite fans. Thanks for joining us bright and early on your Sunday morning for game number 3 of 3 between the visiting Philadelphia Hockey Club and your 2015 Pittsburgh Penguins Elite. Pens were able to take the first 2 games, both in comeback fashion, as the game number 1 saw the boys in black and gold come back from a 3-goal deficit early in the first period to take a 6-4 win in game number 1. Game number 2 ended in favor of the Pens. 5-1 was that final. And we're set to start here from the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex as we're getting lined up at center. Number 4, Mason Fritchie will take this draw. He's flanked by Stark and Bingham Green. Welch is going to step into 20 to push this puck further to number 7, Nico Stark. Following on, here, Pens looking for a better start than they had in the first 2 games, with both a penalty called in game number 2 and a goal scored in the first 21 seconds of the first game yesterday. As Bingham Green tries to get a shot through, it goes off the equipment of the PHC defender. Following on is Mason Fritchie, out of his reach here, as 20 is going to try to dance around Ambrose Papawana. Welch is going to try to hustle to get back on this puck. Welch is coming over to collapse. Welch gets a stick on it, shut down by Luka Thompson. There's Mason Fritchie. He's going to push his man to the wall. Puck's going to be outletted to number 7, Nico Stark. He skates past center now. Stark delays. He's going to push it back into space now. As at center red, number 9, Brady Fritchie. He's going to walk into the offensive zone. He leads the rush. Snaps in a shot just wide of the right post there. As Colton Williams, the starting netminder for PHC, in between the pipes. Number 33, Luka Thompson for your Pens Elite squad. Brady Fritchie throws a pass off the pads, comes all the way through to number 45, Brooks Skaworski. He got one yesterday as it deflects high off the glass. And going to work behind the net now is number 93, Riker Ferguson. Has his pocket picked by Max Roach. He's going to headman pass out of the reach of 77. Could not catch up to that puck. Code 77 as right back into the attack. Number 45, Brooks Skaworski, rolls off of his stick blade. Loya and Papawana coming on here. If the Pens get caught with a slow change, as Loya tries to move the puck ahead, deflects off of number 86, where Connor Wilson, he's going to be in flight. He's going to dance around 17. Centering pass goes behind the net as Borman and number 11, Colt Davis, try to get to that puck. It's going to be chipped back to center, where Ambrose Papawana with a good stick there to bring it back in the offensive zone. He's going to snap it in on net, deflects off the equipment of Fazio, number 7, and back to Gerbovic, number 86, throws it down the ice. Officials are going to say that he hit center red, so picking this up behind the net will be Grant Loya. Reverses back to the other side to Ambrose Papawana. Reading that pass, those 27, Maurer. Throws it right behind Luka Thompson. Picking this up now is Grant Loya. Loya up to Stark. Stark headman pass to Colt Davis. He's going to try the defender as he bounces out to the right side. Sealed off to the wall, where 68 comes and picks up that puck. Pacelli. Chipped back to the top of the zone, where Brady Fritchie throws it right back on the netminder for the second shot of the day for the Pens Elite. It's now in the skates of Bingham Green. Comes in, automatic offsides here. USA Hockey rules. 12:03 to go in the first period. All right, 10-16 now to go in the first period. PHC looks to get back into their offensive zone as they try to tuck it behind Riker Ferguson. As PHC's unable to do so, Riker Ferguson's got the net guard flapping right now as that's come loose again. As it comes back to center, where 22's bumped into. It's going to be a chance here for the Pens Elite as Grant Loy's going to try and push the play. He's coming in, though, 1-on-4. As the PHC players were in on the back check, comes all the way back to center to Ambrose Papuano. He now controls. Cole Davis has his pocket pick by 8. It's going to create a chance here for 86. Snap into the back of the net. After the PHC player was able to pick the pocket of the Pens in the D zone. And it's a 1-0 lead in the first period, a familiar situation for the Pens Elite. Connor Wilson wins this faceoff back to Ambrose Papuano. He now winds it back. Thrown up ahead to Easton Borman. Borman's going to now try the defender. Centering pass for Connor Wilson, puts it in on the netminder. Pops out right in front. Rebound attempt followed on by Borman. Still digging, still loose here. As it's below the goal line, Borman's going to hustle it over to get to this puck. Now going to be taken back out by PHC, but not out of the zone. As Roach is able to get to this puck, headman pass for 20. He's going to try to work around Papuano. Long shot off the blocker of Thompson. As it comes down the near side, Papuano loses an edge. As it's shot into the top corner. And it's a 2-0 game here early in the first period. Fritchie. He lines up for the draw now. He's flanked by Stark and Bingham Green. Backside, Nenavisa and Fritchie. Shot in on net, right pad save. Juicy rebound, kicks out to Witten. He bumps into number 19, Bingham Green. Behind the net now goes Nenavisa. Mason Fritchie tries to get to this puck. He curls out in front, picked off by Witten. It's going to be Mason Fritchie that works for this puck. Tries to kick it along the boards. Comes high now to Nunez. They go D to D. Comes to Fazio. Snapped in on net. Just goes wide of the net off the deflection from Spittle. Bingham Green now controls. As he comes back to center, man ahead of the play. It's Nico Stark. Hits Stark with that pass. Deflects off his stick blade by Fazio. Back to Brady Fritchie. Tries to hit Bingham Green in the seam. But Nunez flashes to get this puck, and he's going to take it behind Williams. Now it comes to 86, Gerbovic. Blake Paris keeps it in the offensive zone right now as it's pushed along further. Blake Paris works for this puck. Fazio now will control. Stepping to that pass was number 77, CJ Nenavisa. As the Pens look to get something going here, only have 3 shots on the board right now to the Pens Elite. As it's thrown back up ahead to 86. Wind it behind Thompson now as 43, Grant Loya. He peels off the wall. Up ahead to Blake Paris. Unable to control here as it's thrown behind the net on a backhand sauce shot there from Max Roach. It's in the wheels right now of Gaworski here on the half wall. Roach looks like a man on a mission right now. He runs into Ferguson. Picking up the pass is Grant Loya, number 43. Throws it up to Blake Paris as it's hemmed in the zone once again. As Grant Loya gets his head up. Now he's going to hit Blake Paris in flight. Works it through the legs of the defender. Maurer on the back check. Lifts the stick of Paris and he goes down to the ice. Loya, he's going to try and read that pass. Moves it up ahead to Connor Wilson. He's going to come in with some speed. Tries to spin move here. It's still in his skates. A couple players digging for that puck. As finding that puck will be number 15, Max Roach. Pens going to go D to D. Loya to Papuano. Papuano moves it up to Borman. Comes back in on the attack, bounces outside of Fazio. Spin move here from Easton Borman, number 74. He goes down now, he's looking for a path to move this puck. Gets knocked off his stick to Connor Wilson. Wilson tries to rim it around to number 11, Colt Davis. where 27 intercepts that pass. Comes up high where Welch is going to try to pinch over to keep this puck in. As dinging this out of there is PHC. And it's going to be thrown. Should be an icing call, and it is an icing call. With 5:55 to go in the first period, offensive zone faceoff coming up.
Good.
As Borman steps in. Same personnel grouping, Wilson and Davis up front. Backside, Fritchie and Welch. 2-0. The deficit for the Pens Elite. As it's thrown now to Brady Fritchie. He's going to split through the offensive zone here. Takes a slash. Puck's going to be knocked off of his stick. Back to the top of the point, where 68 tries to chip it around. On the back check, there was Connor Wilson. Pens right back in on the offensive attack. Wilson. He's going to spin down to the wall. Still has this puck as it's knocked off of his stick blade. As Welch is going to knock it off of 20. Back in, Connor Wilson dances around one man. Thrown back into the Pens D zone. They're skating into the D zone as number 20. Tries to work it around Grant Lloyd. Lloyd recovers, gets to that puck. Now going to go off the wall to Welch. Welch gets his head up, moves it right to Connor Wilson. Wilson tries to move it to Borman, just lost an edge. He's going to go to the bench for a line change. As staying on right now, or coming on, I should say, is number 7, Nico Stark. I see a chance to get in on the forecheck. Goes off the backhand of Bingham Green, settles down in front of the net. As finding that puck through traffic was number 29, Williams. Had a man collapsing on him, number 4, Mason Fritchie. So 4:54 now to go in the first period. Pens Elite trailing by 2. Fritchie on for the draw. He's on with Stark and number 19, Bingham Green. Backside, Nenevisa and Loya. It's wheeled behind Williams, where PHC will pick it up. They go up the half wall to Winton. Winton trips it up to the centerman, number 15, Max Roach. Skates it on the outside, trying to protect on the outside of Loya. Shot off the outside of the net, where Grant Loya tries to get that puck, but the Pens get their hand caught in the cookie jar, and they're going to go to the PK with 4:30 to go in the first period, as Mason Fritchie is going to be rung up for a tripping call, as Winton went down when he felt that stick. So Mason Fritchie will head to the box. Pens going to be on the PK for the first time today. And the boys tasked with killing this off up front will be Ferguson, Gaworski, backside Nenevisa and Loya. In between the pipes again, number 33, Luca Thompson. He's faced 6 shots so far, as PHC trying to make a line change here. Late, so that's going to be shut down, as 22 and Ferguson step in for this draw. It's one back to Fazio, but it goes through his legs. He recovers, goes D to D. 17, Nunez controls. Comes all the way through to Nenevisa. He taps it over to Loya. Back to Fazio here at center red. He wheels back into his own zone. Moves it up to 20. 20 stops at the top of the circle. Leaves it for Fazio at the point. Gaworski with an active stick. Comes back to 20. 20's going to snap it in on net. Shut down by Thompson. Rebound attempt shut down as well. 2 shots there. As Gaworski's going to send it the length of the ice. And this does have the distance for icing, so we'll be back into the Pens D zone with 45 to go. On the penalty call to number 4, Mason Fritchie. Parrish steps in for the draw against Roach. As 94 has it at the top of the zone at the point. Goes down to the half wall to 68, Pacelli. Pacelli back to 94. 94 moves it down low again to 68. Looks like they're trying to set up the seam pass. There's not a lane there. As 68 can't catch that pass. It goes all the way out into the Pens offensive zone with 23 now to go on the PK. Parrish is going to stay under pressure as it's sent up all the way back to center red, where Ambrose Papaluano is going to pick it up. So sends it off the wall back into the PHC zone with 9 to go on the PK now. PHC still hemmed in with 6 to go on the Mason Fritchie penalty, as Welch is going to come up to confront Pacelli. It's going to be knocked off his stick high in the zone. He gets control of this puck, back to 5-on-5 action. Now goes to the corner to Max Roach. He's muscled off the puck there by Mason Fritchie. Pens may have something here, as Mason Fritchie's going to lead the rush. He's coming in 1-on-4 though. Pens changing behind the play. He stops up on the wall. He's bumped into, takes a shoulder up high, as Easton Borman follows on. Back to center red, goes off the stick of Pacelli. Getting to this puck though is 74 Easton Borman. He's going to try to work it around Maurer now. Some PHC players trapped in their own zone potentially here after their power play opportunity goes by the wayside. 2:16 to go in the first period, 68. Carries it back to center. Tries a backhand saucer pass. That's picked off by number 9, Brady Fritchie. He's walking in. Shot off the glove, rebound. Comes to the stick, Easton Borman backhanded in on net. As the puck sat there in the crease momentarily. Bodies hitting the ice all over the place. Should be an icing call. And it is with 1:54 to go in the first period. A couple of juicy rebounds there off the pads of 29. Williams, one sat right in the crease there for a second, as the Pensley just could not get a stick on to poke it back into the back of the net. Connor Wilson on for the draw now. Flanked by Borman and Davis. Backside, Loya and Papaluano. It's one back to Fazio, who rolls it behind his own net. On the half wall, who outlets it to number 20. Wilson tries to get a stick in there, as retreating back into their own zone is PHC. 86 is going to chip it around. Papaluano back to get to this puck is Connor Wilson. Moves it to Grant Loya. Loya goes up the wall to Colt Davis. Davis tries a centering pass. It's behind Borman though. So right back into the D zone come the PHC players, as Borman moves it to Wilson. He's going to protect it on his backhand. Top of the circle, makes a move to cut center. Shot towards the net, as Williams was able to find that puck through a little bit of traffic, shutting things down with 1:11 to go in the first period. As Ferguson, he's on for the draw, now flanked by Paris and number 45, Brooks Jaworski, backside Fritchie and Welch. It's going to be one back to Paris. Swings it right over to Brady Fritchie. Shot in, deflects off of a shin guard. And over here to the near wall, where 77 Witten throws it off the shin guard of Blake Paris. Picking this puck up now is Riker Ferguson. He's rubbed out by 2 PHC players. Puck's underneath all of them. As digging for this puck is number 15, Max Roach. He's going to throw it back to center, where Welch is going to try to cut off number 89. On the back check now is Riker Ferguson. He's looking for a place to move that puck. Goes up to his winger, number 25, Blake Paris. Paris moves it beyond the reach of Jaworski. As reading that play was number 4, Mason Fritchie. It's going to go to Jaworski. Jaworski goes right back to Mason Fritchie. Goes beyond his reach, as PHC sends it up the wall, where Welch is going to try and hold this in. He does. Moves it to Stark. Run right back into the neutral zone. Pens have to get on sides. Unable to do so, though, was Mason Fritchie, as his brother Brady entered the zone. He hustled to get back, just a hair off sides with 8.4 to go in the first period. Pens trailing by 2. As it's one back by Mason Fritchie to his brother. Brady throws it over to Welch. Welch is going to control. Tries to snap it up ahead. And that's going to do it at the end of 1. Here from the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex. 2-0 to score. As the Pens are going to look to try to get a goal behind the netminder Williams. Shot totals at the end of 1. Pens lead 7, PHC 8. Play set to begin here. 15 minutes on the second period clock. Stepping in for the draw will be number 4, Mason Fritchie. Will be one back beyond the reach of Nenevisa. Nenevisa's going to curl this over to Loya. Loya tries to return the favor back to Nenevisa. Goes off of his stick, but he's able to find this behind Luka Thompson. Moves it up the wall to number 7, Nico Stark. Following on was Mason Fritchie. Moves it to Nico Stark. Stark leaves it for Bingham Green. Green tries to get a pass all the way through to Fritchie. Stick was tied up by Fazio, though. Good defensive play as it's under the blocker right now of number 29, Williams. With 14:31 to go in the second period, offensive zone faceoff coming up. Same personnel on the ice for the Pens Elite. Fritchie will take the draw against Roach now. To the right of netminder Williams. Thrown over to the wall to 24. Correction, 94 for the PHC squad. Wheels it behind his own net. Connects to 27, Maurer. Maurer plays it right back to 94. Goes up the wall to 20. Has a good stick there from Grant Lloyd to break up that pass. Tries to move it right back to Mason Fritchie. Does not get through, though. Mason Fritchie moves it over to number 77, Nenevisa. Plays catch with Grant Loya. As Bingham Green now comes in. Pens don't have numbers, though, as they were coming in 1-on-4 into the offensive zone. Pass picked off by PHC. Grant Loya wheels it back through. He'll bounce it outside now. Pens changing behind the play. Fresh on the ice is Colt Davis. He's going to snap in a shot. Goes off the left pad of Williams. Getting that rebound is Colt Davis. Centered out in front. As 94 is able to get to that. Comes down to Noah Welch. He has it at the point. He's going to look for a pathway. He's going to skate center. Moves it wide to Easton Borman. Borman tries to sauce it back to Welch. Keeping it in the zone here. Welch is going to send this in on net. Deflects off of a stick. Bounces down to the stick of Colt Davis. Tries to wrap it around, but it's going to be knocked off of his stick blade. As Welch is going to try to protect the puck now, loses his stick in the process as Ambrose Papuano winds it up the wall. As stepping to this now is going to be Welch. Welch is going to move it to Borman. It's in his skates, though. Creates a turnover here for Carr. He's going to try to bounce it past Papuano as it's shot high up on the shoulder of 33, Luka Thompson. Winton wheels it behind the net, comes through everybody to number 11, Colt Davis. 12:40 now to go in the second period. Headman pass for Easton Borman. Has it at the circle. He shoots wide of the net, though. Ricard will now pick it up. Borman and 77 Winton collide. Still in the PHC zone. As Kowarski moves it back to CJ Nenevisa. He spins off a man, makes a backhand pass. Stepping to this will be number 9, Brady Fritchie. Fritchie up to 45, Brooksy Kowarski. Knocked off the stick of Fritchie as 22 will try Nenevisa. Sends it back through. Winton couldn't get a stick on it because it was tied up by number 9, Brady Fritchie. 12:03 now to go in the second period. As Riker Ferguson gets his feet churning. Moves it up to Brooks Kowarski. 3-on-2 develops. It's Kowarski going wide to Blake Parrish. Just rolls off of his stick before he can get a shot off. Stops up on the goal line. Parrish winds it back around. Riker Ferguson loses an edge there as it comes around to the skates of Brady Fritchie, pinching down to hold this in momentarily. But 17, Nunez, headman pass up to Gerbovic, number 86, knocked off of his stick by a back check at 25, Blake Parrish. Bingham Green's going to bring it back in. Tries a backhand pass, comes to Riker Ferguson, flutters it in with the changeup on Williams. The Pens' 9th shot of the game. Have not been able to get one back. As we have 11:24 now to go. Offensive zone to the right of Williams coming up now. Fritchie will step in, flanked by Bingham Green and Nico Stark. One pushed forward by Mason Fritchie, gets a shot off. Couldn't get a lot of lumber on that one as the stick was in there from 94. And it's into the catching mitt of number 29, Williams. Do it all over again, 11:19. A couple seconds to tick off the clock. Spittle will draw in against number 4, Mason Fritchie. as 94. The defenseman comes in to pick up this puck. Just going to try to reverse it back to 20. 20. Sees his pass picked off by Ambrose Papuano. Papuano up to Stark. Stark to Bingham Green. Green's going to skate this in. Goes wide now to Mason Fritchie. Tries to stop up. Forgets one thing, the puck. As it bounces out into a soft spot, Nico Stark got a quick stick on that. But it comes all the way through to Williams, number 29. And he just covers here with 10:58 now to go in the second period. So the Pens getting some zone time here right now, but still looking to get some quality scoring opportunities as Mason Fritchie stays on here with his line mates. Once again, drawing in third offensive zone faceoff for this personnel grouping. As Fritchie steps in against Spittle. He's going to win it back. Comes to Green. Green back to Loya. Loya's got a lane here. He's going to take it. Backhand pass over to Bingham Green. Deflects in on the netminder off the stick of Nunez. As Penn's trying to get pucks to the net. As 22 is going to walk in. Shot. And it goes top corner for PHC's third goal of the game with 10:39 to go in the second period. So, just as the Pens had something going in the offensive zone, saved by Williams at one end, and creates an outlet pass for PHC. They fire it from the circles, and the Pens definitely have their work cut out for them to try and climb back once again. They spotted 3 goals to the PHC squad yesterday and were able to come out with a 6-4 victory. Penn's going to have to muster the same type of effort, probably even more of an effort here as PHC looks motivated once again today. As Loya protects on his backhand now. He surfs at the top of the zone, knocked off of his stick by Carr, moves it back to Ambrose Papuano. He's harassed by Carr now. Ambrose trying to work around a couple of guys as Borman seals off Roach. Roach drops his stick in the process. Connor Wilson, he's streaking down the right side. He's going to try a power move. Takes a stick from 27. Takes a couple of sticks here and goes down. As the tripping call will be called against Maurer. Wilson had a step on him. It's going to be a slashing call. As the Pens have the turkey on the table here with the power play. Connor Wilson steps in for the draw against Spittle, who's on with Borman and Green. Backside, Fritchie and Welch. Comes now high to Noah Welch. Is going to snap it in just wide of the net. Comes all the way through to Bingham Green. Green goes to the seam to Noah Welch. Traffic in front. Welch is going to snap this in just over the net. Brady Fritchie plays catch with Connor Wilson. Wilson plays catch, goes right back to Brady Fritchie. He's going to snap it in on net. Deflects just wide. That's Bingham Green. He looks for a pathway to move this puck. Goes high to Welch, but it's off the wall. Clears the zone. As Brady Fritchie has to go back in control. It's left for number 8 now. Clamped down by Welch behind the net. Pens on the power play here for the next 34 as Connor Wilson's going to streak out of the offensive zone. Borman gets around Fazio. As it now comes to Brooks Gaworski. Gaworski to Welch. Welch surveys the seam, goes across to Nenevisa. Nenevisa goes back to Gaworski. Gaworski tries to work it through the seam with 9 to go on the power play. Gaworski takes it deep in the zone. Centering pass comes all the way through. Easton Borman shoots it and blocker down as it's thrown all the way down the ice to Luca Thompson. Back to 5-on-5 action. As it's picked up in flight by Grant Loya. Offsides is the call though. Could have been icing as well. Pens had some bodies coming onto the ice. So it should be either an intentional offsides or an icing call. Could have got rung up for either one of those. As 8:16 to go in the second period. Pens have a D-zone draw. Got a couple of shots, 3 shots on the power play there. Unable to cash in though. as it's sent to number 25, Blake Parrish. Parrish up to Gaworski. Gaworski delays. Moves it to Ferguson. Ferguson backhands it. Just goes wide of the net again. Almost went off to coming to Parrish. As Max Roach brings it right back into the Penn's D zone. Picking this up is Grant Loya. Loya sends it up ahead off the stick of Riker Ferguson, where it deflects to number 27, Maurer. The man in the box earlier as Blake Parrish tries to move it along. We're at the halfway point of this game. 7:33 now to go in the second period. Where Brooks Gaworski tries to get to this puck. Thrown along now to Maurer. Chipped ahead off the stick of Grant Loya to number 27, Maurer. He controls behind the net now. He's harassed by Mason Fritchie. Nico Stark sees this go off his pants, as following on is Mason Fritchie. Where Welch is going to come over and put this puck off the wall to Nico Stark. He's got a man ahead of the play. It's number 4, Mason Fritchie, protects on his backhand. Power move there. Comes in. Mason Fritchie gets to that rebound, just shot wide of the net. Good power move there from number 4. As Max Roach tries to protect using the cage as a shield, puts it here to the near corner. Nico Stark is going to hustle with his puck as it's in the skates of a PHC player. Welch is going to knock it off his stick blade and seals him to the wall, where Welch goes back to collect the puck behind his net, goes behind to Ambrose Papawana. Goes right back to number 4, Mason Fritchie. Fritchie plays catch with Papawana, tries to deflect it beyond the reach of the defender, goes off the official here. It's still in the Penn's offensive zone. As Nico Stark hustles over, he's going to harass Fazio. Fazio skates around him. As it comes up to the half wall, outlet pass here to number 77, Winton. As he skates off the stick, throws it to the behind the net area where Welch is going to be run into by Winton. Where Connor Wilson tries to feather it through, picked up by number 17, Nunez. As it's thrown back to number 89, Carr. Welch is going to hustle over there to get to Carr. It's shot over the net. Colt Davis can't get up to that pass or that outlet as it comes back to PHC defenders. Fazio throws it right back in deep as it deflects dangerously in front of Luka Thompson. Big carom there off the end wall as 89 comes over. Good stick from Ambrose Papawana, not to let a shot get through. 5:28 now to go in the second period. Stark headmans for Wilson late in the shift. He delays, but the Pens are changing behind the play. Nobody home behind. Stepping into this puck is Brady Fritchie as it's poked forward, where Colt Davis will come to this puck. Centering pass. Nobody home though. As it's thrown down the ice, icing's the call with 5:01 to go in the second period. Pens will have an offensive zone face-off. Some pushback here. They've had the last 5 shots of the game. Some near misses, just shot over the net, wide of the net. Pens need to get pucks on 29 and crash in for rebounds here. As 93 Riker Ferguson steps in. Shot forward by Brady Fritchie. Goes off the shin guard to Borman. Borman finds this puck. It's in his skates. Moves it to the point man. Unable to control that though. As Brady Fritchie will lose an edge. Following on is number 8. Centers, where there's a collision here between Borman and a PHC player. Borman hits the ice. Thrown back into the PHC zone. Coming back for it is number 7, Josh Fazio. He's being harassed now by 93 Riker Ferguson. Fazio stops up behind the net. Where it's moved to Max Roach, number 15. Thrown off the shoulder of Ferguson. Deflects now to the far corner where Brady Fritchie has it on his backhand. Lines it behind the net to Nenavisa. Borman sends it up to the point man Fazio. As it's shot, a lot of bodies in front there. It goes by everybody. As 8 and 9 go down together. That's Brady Fritchie underneath. It's thrown behind the net. 3:57 now to go in the second period. Headman pass is chipped up off the stick of Borman. It will be an icing call though. With 3:50 to go in the second period. Penn still being blanked on the scoreboard. Connor Wilson steps in against 22. Spittle. It's feathered in front. Rebound is found. Put back in on Thompson as 20 was poking around there, and he hits the deck as Loya and Papuano converge to box out. Spittle draws in against Wilson. Comes now behind the net to number 37, the left-handed defenseman Ambrose Papuano. As Mason Fritchie is pulled down there by a couple of bodies. As it comes to the half wall to Connor Wilson, he goes high to Ambrose Papuano. Delays, showing some patience at the blue line, moves it to Grant Loya. Loya, backdoor pass attempt, deflects off a stick, doesn't get through. As it becomes an opportunity for Pacelli. He's got a man trailing, the play decides to shoot it, goes over the bar. As we approach the 3-minute mark here in the second period. Poked behind Penn's elite. Where getting to this puck is number 8, Connor Wilson. Wilson moves it ahead to Mason Fritchie. As 94 pokes it behind him. PHC getting pucks deep here to make the Pens work for the comeback attempt here. As there's 243 now to go in the second period. Controlled by PHC at the top of the zone, 20 delays. He spins around. He's got Fazio at the point, decides to go to the other point man. 17 Nunez, shot off the shin guard of Bingham Green. Green's going to try and hit Connor Wilson with the pass. That's picked off by 20. 20 walks in, shot wide of the net. Battle ensues behind where Mason Fritchie sees this go through his skates to 20. 20 back to the point man 7. Puck control here for PHC. Penn's been hemmed in for a while here. Backhanded towards the net. As Luka Thompson has it underneath him right now. And this is going to be a D-zone draw. I wasn't sure if they're going to move it out as a Philadelphia defender did come below the hashes there. So D-zone draw. Connor Wilson, the correction 93, Riker Ferguson on for it. Welch ties up Winton, correction Carr, as it comes back to center. Where it's now thrown to the stick blade of Noah Welch. He's being harassed. Moves it D to D over to Brady Fritchie. Fritchie up to Davis. Davis tries to chip it along. Knocked off of his stick though. And it's thrown right back into the Penn zone where Brady Fritchie, he controls. Tries to go through the seam to Blake Paris. Goes by him. Icing's waved off though. As Maurer tries to reverse it back behind the cage. Two Pens collide with each other. As Carr snaps it up to the stick blade of number 9, Brady Fritchie. He's going to try and take control here as he rubs Maurer out. Still in the offensive zone here. On the stick of Brady Fritchie. He's collapsed by 2 members of PHC. Where it's going to be a 2-on-1 back check here by Easton Borman. Welch is going to come over to harass Roach. Knocks him to the ice. This creates an outlet here for Colt Davis coming in 1-on-2. Tries to dip it around a man. Unable to do so as PHC gets control here, but Stark contests. Roach is going to skate this back to center. Throws it up to the stick of 77 Nenevisa. Nenevisa to Loya. Loya winds it through. Doesn't connect though. Where Fazio is going to fall down. Maybe an opportunity for Nico Stark if he can get to this puck. Following to help out is number 15, Max Roach. 35 to go in the second period. Borman's going to walk off the wall now. Tries a bad angle shot as he takes a stick from Fazio. Comes all the way through to the point man. Loya plays catch with Gaworski. Top of the circle. Gaworski chips it off the wall where Roach gets to this puck. Thrown right back up into the Penguins bench. Offensive zone faceoff with 19.4 to go as it went off of a PHC stick in their own zone. Into the Penguins bench. So we'll do things. Should be in the zone. As back to center red comes number 86. It's going to be an interference call here. Going down gingerly. Was 86 there. with 8.8 to go. So the Penn's going to go to the penalty kill. D-zone draw coming up. More adversity, making that mountain a little bit higher to climb back from. Or back on top, I should say. As the Penn's going to have to kill this off. It's going to be an interference call assessed to number 43, Grant Loya, on 86, who chipped the puck behind him. Loya stayed in his lane, but we're at 5 seconds to go in the period. Shot. There's a couple bodies in front. And that's where things are going to end at the end of 2. PHC's up 3-0 right now. Clock set here. The Penn's on the PK here to start the third period. 1:16 to go on the interference call to Grant Loya right now as Easton Borman chips it back through center to the stick of number 7, Josh Fazio. Welch is going to try and step up on Pacelli. Creates some pressure, goes over to the stick of Nico Stark. Throws it back in. It's going to be a D-zone draw here. It's not hitting center red where the boys in black and gold. They're going to change the personnel grouping up front. It's going to be strong. As Mason Fritchie and Connor Wilson comes on. Same D grouping here. Papawana and Welch, man, between the pipes. 33, Luka Thompson, 14:41 to go in the third. 1:03 on the penalty now. One over into the skates of Welch as he's going to harass Pacelli as it goes behind the net now. Where Spittle gets to this puck. Thrown high to Fazio. Fazio sees it goes off his stick. As it's sent into the bumper position here to 77 Winton. Wilson, he has a shorthanded goal yesterday, tries to work it back into the neutral zone. 41 to go on the penalty to number 43, Grant Loya. As PHC controls here on the half wall in their own zone. Coming off the wall is number 20. He's going to skate it back to center right now. On the back check, though, is Connor Wilson. As it goes to Ambrose Papawana. Welch and Pacelli collide. Or Mason Fritchie knocks it behind the net to Noah Welch. He's going to skate this further along. Where it's controlled by 22. 5 to go on the penalty call. Spittle controls, sends it out in front to 20. Shot high over the net. Back to 5-on-5 action. Grant Loya is going to join the action here in their zone. Shot off equivalent of Welch. Or Fazio. It's going to see that deflected in. Welch ties up his man. As Grant Loya is going to lead the rush. He's going to stay on here. After he came out of the box. Loya's going to snap it in on net. Goes behind the net. Back to 5-on-5 action. 13-13 to go in the third period. Papawana spins off the wall. He loses an edge, though. As 68 rolls it back in. He's going to go for the change. 22 stays under pressure. Number 9, Brady Fritchie. got a man ahead of the plate. Cole Davis. Davis right back to Ferguson. Ferguson stops up behind the zone. Tries to go back door to Blake Parrish. Gets a shot off as he was losing an edge a little bit there. Goes off the blocker of Williams. 12:40 to go now in the third period. Sent back into the Penn zone as CJ Nenvisa goes back for this puck, and it will be an icing call. As Nenvisa was able to buy that call, slowing the skating back a little bit. Will be rewarded with an offensive zone faceoff with 12:32 to go in the third period. Shot total 16-13. Finding this puck is number 11, Colt Davis. Davis down, see his pass picked off, but coming off the wall is 93, Riker Ferguson. Shot off the blocker, the right hand of Williams. Comes back to the point man, 77, Nenvisa. Nenvisa works it down to 93. Riker Ferguson. Ferguson sees that shot. Juicy rebound pops out in front. Nobody home though to collect. As skating back to center is the defenseman number 17, Nunez. Good back check there from number 93, Riker Ferguson. Goes behind Luka Thompson. Nenvisa goes back for the puck. He's harassing Roach now. Comes back high to Fazio. Shot off the wall with 11:55 to go in the third period. 8C's is pinned to the wall by 77 now. 7 has it high. He's pressured by Paris. Roach walks behind a couple of guys, tries to feather it through, goes off the body of Ferguson. He's knocked to the ice by 8. Cole Davis skates forward to Blake Paris. They come on 3-on-3, changing the D behind the play. As one of those new defenders, Loya, leaves it for number 11, Colt Davis. He's going to try to get right back in on the attack. As Nico Stark bears down on number 7, where 77 throws it blindly back to center and to the stick of Grant Loya. He's going to wind things around 77 now. Chipped off of his stick. Trying to step that puck goes Ambrose Papuano. Has it 10:58 now to go in the third period. Easton Borman sees that knocked off of his blade by 15, Max Roach. Roach will chip it back into the Penguins' end of the ice. Collecting is number 43, Grant Loya. Harassed by 89. Moves it to Gaworski. Gaworski quickly moves it to the stick of Stark. Stark to Borman. Borman snaps this in. Blocker down, and it's into the pillows of number 29, Williams. Offensive zone faceoff coming up again. Borman draws in. Bouncing puck off the draw here, thrown into the equipment of Williams, and finds that puck and covers it up with 10:29 now. We'll do it all over again. Another offensive zone faceoff, same side, same personnel. Pens get their 21st shot of the game off that faceoff sequence. Borman on for the draw against Roach. Pops out in front to Easton Borman as Fazio follows on to move to 20. 20's going to retreat back into his zone as it's chipped behind Penn's defender. But good back check there from the boys in black and gold to shut things down. Pacelli's going to try to work this around the net, where back for this puck will be number 9, Brady Fritchie. Takes it on his forehand now. He's pinched down by Roach. Roach is going to try to walk by him. Leaves it for a teammate. Shot right out in front. Shot over the net. But picking this puck up is Nico Stark. Stark to Fritchie. Fritchie right back to Borman. Borman's going to head up the ice here. He's coming in 2-on-3. He's got a teammate with him. It's 45, Brooks Gaworski. Gaworski peels off to go for a change now. As pinned to the wall is number 74, Easton Borman. Allows some reinforcements to get on the ice now. Quick whistle here, though, as it'll be another offensive zone face-off with 9:28 to go in the third period. Wilson, he's on for the draw. Reunited with some past line mates here. Mason Fritchie on the wing, comes all the way through to Nenevisa. Nenevisa moves it to Grant Loya. Out of the zone, though. Moved back to Nenevisa. Nenevisa chips it up ahead to Bingham Green. As it's moved right back to Connor Wilson. Wilson tries to go give and go with Mason Fritchie. Comes out in the slot, but collecting that rebound for PHC. PHC, as soon as they hit center red, they dump it deep. They've been doing that since most of the game here, as they've been playing with the lead. As Mason Fritchie chips it up to Bingham Green. Rolls off of his stick blade right back to the Pens' left-handed defender, CJ Nenevisa. Nenevisa up to Mason Fritchie, knocked off. Where the Pens are going to see this go back into their own zone. They're making a change. And it will be an icing call. Offensive zone face-off. Not a lot of time left. Here's we're almost at the midpoint of the third period. Pens looking to get something going with another offensive zone face-off. It's going to be one back to Paris. Paris drops it down to Welch. Where it's going to be here in the near corner where Riker Ferguson picks it up. Now comes to the stick of Ambrose Papuano. Papuano's going to try and skate through some traffic. As it comes off the half wall, off the stick blade of Winton. Holding this in though is Paris at the half wall. He's going to walk off. He's got a seam, shoots off the left pad of Williams. As following on is Riker Ferguson. PH is going to try and outlet this. Back to center, where Ambrose Papuano picks off the Max Roach pass. He gets skating into the offensive zone. Dumps it in deep. With 7:38 now to go in the third period. Comes the stick blade of CJ Nenevisa. Nenevisa tries to hit Borman with a pass. Goes beyond his reach. As 17 Nunez throws this back to center, where Easton Borman picks it up. Comes to the far wall, chipped behind the official. Where 17 gets it knocked off of his stick blade by Nico Stark. Stark to Borman. Comes back to Brooksy Gaworski. Try to go back to Nenevisa, where 20 picks that up as he's going to try and bounce this wide on CJ. Knocked off balance by number 77, where 20 goes back to the point man, 94. 94 is going to take a slap shot in on net. Deflects off of the equipment of Brady Fritchie, where Borman moves it to Gaworski. Gaworski tries to go to the winger on that side. Nico Stark picked off by PHC though. Nico Stark comes in, snaps a shot, goes wide of the net. Comes near side now. Where Connor Wilson has his stick lifted by 22 and it's thrown back into the neutral zone, where Brady Fritchie comes to get to that puck. Bingham Green works it around a man, but loses that puck as 20 comes right back in on Loya. It's going to snap in a long shot into the equipment of Thompson. Leaves it for Fritchie to play. As Penn's going to see this roll off the stick blade of 19, Bingham Green. Back to Grant Loya. 6:09 to play here from the UPMC, the Muse Sports Complex, as Grant Loya is able to draw a penalty here. Tripping will be the call, as 68 is going to head to the box. Pacelli. Comes now high to Ambrose Papuano, under 6 to play. Comes all the way through to Grant Loya at the top of the zone. Loya plays catch, moves it to Papuano. Papuano's going to step in, snaps in a shot, right pad save there. Comes down to Connor Wilson, snaps in a shot, rebound there, found by Fritchie, as it's still loose in front. And the whistle's blown here with 1:01 to go on the Pens power play. 5:35 now to play in the period. Same personnel grouping out on the ice. Connor Wilson draws in. As it's thrown up beyond the reach of Ambrose Papuano, they're going to roll that was deflected. So it comes all the way back down behind the Penguins' net, where Grant Loya winds it up to Connor Wilson. Wilson ships it ahead to Mason Fritchie. Fritchie stops up high in the zone. Goes high to Ambrose Papuano. Papuano over to 43, Grant Loya. He's defended by Winton. Loya now protects. It's going to come high all the way through to Ambrose Papuano. 27 to go on the power play. Calling for this puck is Bingham Green. Papuano tries to move it to him as he lost an edge. As another penalty is coming up for the cross check. So the Pens get a two-man advantage here. 94 took a man out. Two-man advantage coming up with 20 to go on the first penalty called at Baselli. And the Pens going to take a timeout to discuss things, as we're under 5 to play and have an opportunity to get one here. Thanks for joining us here this morning on Pens Elite TV for game number 3 of 3 between PHC and your Pens Elite team. As it looks like the 5 on the ice here for the 5-on-3 will be the Wilson, Fritchie, Green combination up front. Backside Brady, Fritchie, and number 43, Grant Loya. As we get set here for the faceoff, 4:53 to play. It's going to be one back to Brady Fritchie. He controls at the top of the zone, moves it D to Grant Loya. Loya is going to take some space. He walks into the soft spot, snaps it backdoor to Bingham Green. Green now winds it up. 6 to go on the first penalty call before 20 is going to come out. Loya has it at the top of the zone, plays catch with Bingham Green. Green walks in, sees the shot knocked off of his stick leg as it's sent up ahead. So number 68, Pacelli, fresh out of the box. Pens have 1 minute of power play time now to go. 4:21 to go in the game. As they're being harassed in their own zone right now. Mason Fritchie. He's going to skate it back to center. Goes wide to his brother. He's going to enter the zone. Brady Fritchie delays at the top of the circle. Now behind the net. He's got a trailer. It's Easton Borman finds him in the soft spot. Deflects off of his stick. And it's into the back of the net. Deflects off of Connor Wilson. And it's a PPG for PPE with 4 minutes even. As it went off the shoulder of Wilson and into the net. Now there's the discussion. As the call on the ice is a goal. So the official did not point at center. It looked like he pointed into the Penguins' offensive zone. But boys are lining up at center red, so if that indicates that this will be a good goal. And Connor Wilson will get credit for it off the chip shot of Easton Borman. As the Pens now climb back within 2 with 4 minutes to go. As they look to push the pace the other way. As it's now in the skates of number 8. Throws it back to Ambrose Papuano. Papuano to Welsh. Welsh is going to move it up ahead. Saucer pass to Blake Paris. But back to center comes Gerbovic. Number 86 is going to try Welch. Knocked off a his stick play. As Ambrose Papuano, he's being harassed. Throws it over to Welch. Welch is going to try and push it into space to Riker Ferguson. He's interfered with by 22 Spittle. As Gerbovic, he's going to walk back in. Snapped in on net. Blockered high. Comes right into the crease area where Papuano moves it up to Blake Paris. And now comes far side all the way through to Noah Welch. He's going to control it and moves it behind the net to Ambrose Papuano. Papuano chips it up to Blake Paris. Comes all the way through where Easton Borman and Welch come over to this puck. Borman chips it back to the neutral. We're under 3 now to play. As it's thrown right in again to the Pens D zone, where Ambrose Papuano has to go back to pick up this puck. Winds it back the other way to Welch. Welch has some room to skate with this as he moves it up ahead to Easton Borman. Borman's coming in 1-on-4 though. 2:36 to play. Now here come the reinforcements as Borman was able to hold it fort to get possession of this in the offensive zone. Fritchie has it at the top of the zone, goes low to Connor Wilson. Wilson tries to go back to him and deflects off of a shin guard. Fazio tries to move this out of the zone. Good keep there by CJ Nanavisa. Where finding this puck is number 8, Connor Wilson. Pens have pulled their goalie as Luka Thompson heads to the bench. Extra attackers now on. Shot, but it's picked down by PHC. Good stick there from Brady Fritchie to keep it in the zone. 2 minutes now to play. Brady Fritchie, Pens have a 6-on-5 advantage. Empty net the other way. Bingham Green's going to shoot it, goes over the net though. 89 runs it through the other side. Nanavisa pinches over to keep. Goes along the blue line to Brady Fritchie. He's got a lane, snaps it in on net. It's in the shin guards of 17. Brady Fritchie finds his puck once again. Goes wide to Nanavisa. Nanavisa's going to walk in. He snaps in a shot. And that's found by Williams to shut things down. With 1:38 to go in the third period. Offensive zone face-off coming up. 6-on-5 advantage for the black and gold. The 4x6 in the Pens D zone is empty. On now is Wilson, Stark, Fritchie, Green, Fritchie, and Loya. And it'll be one to the stick of Mason Fritchie. Snaps it on net. Good save there from Williams. As a penalty is coming up. As Bingham Green will head to the box. .132 on the clock. Penn's going to have work cut out for them here as PHC has an offensive zone face-off on the power play where Brady Fritchie trying to muscle it off of Spittle. Knocked off the stick of 20. Pocket picked by 20. And he's shot in. And it goes top corner. And it's going to be a power play goal for PHC to make it a 4-1 game here with 1:16 to play. As we set things up here, Pens deficit back to 3. As Ambrose Papuano picks up, goes ringside to Welch. Welch is going to skate this back in, moves it up to Borman. Borman catches his pass, goes right over to Gorski. Gorski backhand, soft rebound left there. Under 1 minute to play now in the third period, where 86 skates this back. He dumps it in deep. Welch is going to have to go back for this puck. The He's going to go behind his net. Takes the wrong angle there as Ferguson and him collide. Finding this puck is Riker Ferguson, where Ambrose Papuano protects on his backhand. And he brings it back in with 31 to go in the period. Ambrose Papuano stops up. And Riker Ferguson, power move from him. Shot wide of the net. Coming far side where it's shot back high in the zone. Brooks Jaworski picks this up with 17 to go. Jaworski delays. He's looking for a teammate to move it to. Instead, it's picked off by number 8 as he centers it for 86. It's going to come in the offensive zone on the defend. Goes all the way through. And that's going to be it. From game number 3, thanks for joining us from the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex. Final score, PHC 4, Pensley 1. Boys will be back in action in a couple weeks as they go on a road trip to Detroit to take on Little Caesars and the Oakland Junior Grizzlies. Thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of your Sunday.